We got him, man. We're ghosting with Sose the Ghost. La Ghosta Nostra, man. Thank you for coming through, big dog.
I love the new slogan. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming all the way from the Bronx, NY, man, to bless us with your story, Ghost.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Tell us how you started Demons Row.
I was in a club. I had an accident, right? So when I was in my MC, for the people that don't know about, like what a club is, what I'm referring to, I was in an MC at the time. I got taken out by a truck. I was on a bike. I was at a stop sign, and this truck came behind me and took me out on my bike. So I was like MIA for a minute because I had to have surgeries and stuff like that. So when I'm with the club, I'm like not able to ride. You get that itch, like, damn, I want to ride too. So, but I'm there. I'm still going to events and everything. And I was just watching stuff on YouTube, and everything was like gang this, most vicious that. It was all just downgrading the clubs. And I know that, work got put in and stuff happened on the street. That goes without saying. But everything was that. And that's not reality, you know what I'm saying? I was living it, so I say, you know what? Somebody that's actually living it should talk about it, So I started talking about it, and it just started to take off, The first thing that I started talking about on Demons Row was the Save the Patch case for the Mongols. That whole situation was going on. So, I got bros that I'm cool with in the club, so I felt that was an important issue, because if they come for one patch, they could come for everybody's patches, like they do in Australia, Canada, all these places. Like, clubs are banned in Germany and certain areas, So I thought it was a different voice that needed to be heard.
Right. And a lot of work was laid out for that Save the Patch movement. Tell us a little bit about the East Coast one percenter scene. We know we got the Pagans are a dominating force out there in NY.
Yeah.
Who else are the big clubs out there?
So when it comes to New York, Unknown Bikers are the ones that are really have the influence out there. And then like on the East Coast as a general, it's the Pagans. You got 81 in certain areas, that control a lot. So you have them, you have the Thunder Guards. There's a lot of clubs, there's so many, It's different in New York. Like out here in the West is more of certain clubs have like stuff under control. Out there, there's a lot of clubs, so it's different. It's just a very different, open kind of community where like there's all kind of clubs. And I know out here there's a lot of clubs too, but out there it's different,
You've been involved in a one percenter organization. Do you find that you're better off just being a lone wolf?
Yeah, for what I'm doing as far as like entertainment and stuff like that, and loyalty too, loyalty is tough. If you're in a national club that has like Florida, like different states all over, it's different than having a tight-knit club where you're just in a certain area and you all grew up together. When you're in a national club, it's different. It's like always some annual going on. And when you're doing work and business, it's hard sometimes to keep up with both, And I was a nomad for a while. So, you get calls and you have to go somewhere far, and it's heavy, It's a lot of work that a lot of time you have to put in. So, I had good times, I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't as crazy as the street things that I was doing before all the club stuff. Like when I was gangbanging, I was crip for like 12 years on the East Coast, which is very different from this side. But I saw a lot more craziness back in those days. And that's why I promote like the clubs isn't as bad as people make it out to be. I stopped getting locked up when I got down with a club.
And you mentioned the Crips. You were rocking with the Grape Streets, right?
Yeah.
Right, which is a big Watts, California gang.
Yeah.
And it migrated out to NY.
Yeah.
And you and I talked that there's a heavy presence of Bloods in New York.
Yeah, like when I went up north, I went to Gowanda, and Gowanda's a correctional facility in New York. They send you upstate. And when I went to Gowanda, I want to say it was like 8 of us that was Crip, and it was like maybe like 12 Jamaicans, and everybody else was like blood almost, it was probably like 100 Bloods to like 12 of us.
Damn.
But the 12 that made it was so certified that we was good. Other jails, it's no go. As soon as you come in, you got a draft bag in your hand, they chopping you. Like if you go to like Wyoming or something like that, they called it Loc Hell in New York, because once you step in, even if you're like just coming off the bus, people would be cuffed. When you're first getting, placed, people are getting off the bus and getting cut.
Damn.
They didn't even take their cuffs off yet. That's how crazy it was in Wyoming. So the blood influence was a lot stronger in New York. even when we was coming up, the whole reason why I got down with it is because my cousin came home from Green. That's another correctional facility, and he came home low. And, you know, a lot of Bloods was after him, and I had to step in for my cousin because he's my actual family, you know what I mean? So I started to get labeled, but me, myself, I made the decision to get down instead of trying to pull him out of it, which is a mistake I made. But everybody's path, you know, if it's your family, you feel like these people are opposing your family. That's where I was with it, you know?
Right. Did the Jamaicans hold you down in there too?
Yes.
Did they ride Crip?
So in Brooklyn, there's a heavy, you know, Jamaican, Belizean, you know, those West Indian, those island people. So since I'm from Puerto Rico, they embrace me because they're like, yo, you from the island or whatever, you're one of the islands, you know? So I was lucky. I was lucky because if I would have went to another spot, you would see it on my face as, you know, we were doing the interview. It was real like that, you know? But yeah, they embraced me. It was funny because when I was a kid, I got locked up. I did juvenile time. I was in a DFY called Lincoln Hall. I don't know how they do it out here, but in New York, it's called DFY, Division for Youth. So when you get locked up when you're young, they ship you off to like I call it like more like a boarding school, but it's for crimes. I had robberies, you know? So when I was doing that, I was in a cottage called the Hillside. Now, a friend of mine's cat was in there with me. When I went up to Gowanda, he was one of the big homies. He was in there for 7 years. He had like, you know, put in knife work, all that. So when I came in, I was lucky because he was there. And it's crazy because as a kid, we were locked up together. And then as an adult, so it was like, I had somebody to vouch for me, you know, because, you know, even you could be down with something, but if you don't have anybody to vouch for you, they might just not want to, you know, take you in as family.
Is it uncommon for a Puerto Rican cat to be in a Crip set?
Yes.
Tell us
Yes.
what the big Puerto Rican contingent is out in NY.
So a lot of the Puerto Ricans were either Latin King or Blood. And it's funny because when I got around some of the Bloods that I knew from New York, you know, from outside, not that like inside, and I met them again when I was inside, they were like, bro, you Puerto Rican, you could have put your feet up. Why'd you turn Crip? But yeah, being Puerto Rican, I was definitely it was one other Puerto Rican that was Crip when we was locked up. Everybody else was, and in the Bronx, everybody was Blood, like everybody. But I was stupid and young. I kind of like being an underdog. It was weird. Like I got a high off like, oh yeah, I'm this, y'all that, but you know, I'm like exclusive, you know? That's how I felt, you know, and which is stupid, you know? But I was younger and I was like, you know, in New York, you want to get your name up. If you want to get your name up, you just be involved with something that nobody's down with and your name is going to ring. Like once I stepped into the building, they were like, yo, who's this dude? My name was ringing. Everybody knew who I was, you know?
Right.
So when you're young and stupid, you like that stuff, you know?
You went against the grain, so to say, right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Now, so tell us a little bit about your thoughts of the California politics, how it's so segregated. Do you find that weird being a New Yorker, how like the whites, the Woods, and you got the Latinos and then the brothers?
Yeah, it's strange. Like on the East Coast, we all function together. So there's never been like you stay with this race, that, you know, like we don't really do that on the East Coast. So it's like, I understand that it's like that out here, and I don't know, like it's a little strange to me when I, you know, see how it is. But I know on this side, there's reasons for it, you know, with everybody coming from the border, and then like there's maybe some racism and different things that play into it, you know.
Do you feel like a lot of the Puerto Ricans in the Bronx that they're sticking to the culture or keeping it alive, or do you feel that they haven't even visited Puerto Rico?
A lot of them visit. See, me, I'm the worst. I was born there. I was born in Bayamón, Puerto Rico. And I left there when I was 1. And then, you know, not on my own accord, obviously, I was a baby, but my mother and father moved back to the Bronx. So I grew up in the Bronx and I never went back. So I need to go back, you know, and go visit.
Right, and you got plans to do that?
Yeah.
What's your favorite movies, man?
Oh, that's a tough one. It's Bronx Tale. Troy, Colonial. I used to hang out in that area. I know you have a lot of the mob guys on and stuff.
Yeah, man.
We used to hang out right there where they shot Bronx Tale on 187th over there. I would say Bronx Tale, Troy, 300. I like all that stuff. If they got like the red fur on their helmet, I watched it. Like I watched all of that stuff.
I like that movie Gladiator.
Gladiator's fire,
Where
Braveheart, all that
yeah,
stuff.
the scene where he's in the beginning where he says, if you feel the warm breeze coming through you, you're already
Yeah.
finished off. So fuck it, you know?
Yeah, my favorite line in the movie is 300 when they're at that final scene and the god Xerxes was like, all you have to do is just bow down to me. I'm gonna give you everything. You're gonna run the show. And he was like, he said, it sounds so good, but I got this cramp in my leg. So kneeling will be hard. And it was just like the realest, like I will never bow down, like that was like one of the realest quotes. I love it.
Right. You got a warrior spirit in you, so you're never going to bend the knee to nobody.
Fact.
Yeah. So, after the Grape Street Crip thing, you migrated into the one percenter thing, and now you've pulled away. And as a neutral mind looking at the one percenter culture, do you think it's been watered down? What are your thoughts about how it's progressed?
I think that there's a lot of people that got in for the right reasons, and then it just gets so political, I think that's what it is, just the politics. Like, everybody wants to be that top dog, Not everybody, but a lot of people, like I've said it before on the show. If you look at your man, like if you're a president, look at whoever's right next to you that you think you love the most and trust the most, and have like a heart to heart with them and say, yo, I don't know if I could do this. What do you think about taking my spot? A lot of them gonna take your spot. They want that number one spot.
Right. Do you go to a lot of the big runs like Sturgis and...
I have not went to Sturgis yet. I've been planning to go, but I've been to Daytona, Myrtle, all the other ones.
What I love about Demon's Row is you're putting people up on game, what patches not to rock. It's a culture you have to respect. And it seems like you see these weekend warrior dudes and they're wearing the wrong shit, man.
Yeah.
And they could get in a headlock over that.
I get emails all the time, like on both sides of the spectrum. Like, it's like, yo, bro, you saved me. I almost caught a bad one. But, you said this in the show or whatever, and it helped me. And then I have other ones like, yo, send me a picture of their head all busted and like, yo, bro, I should have listened to you. I'm like, why are you sending me these pictures, bro? You could have just told me the story, But yeah, like it's on both tokens. So I like it. It's like, I feel like OG is supposed to give game to the younger ones. Cause my main demo is 25 to 34, like I was telling you before. So it's like, people don't understand. I'm talking to the young boys on the come up, They got to know how to move, Nobody teaches nobody how to really move like that anymore. They want them to go through hard stuff to learn, but sometimes you got to put people on the game so they can hit the next level, of game, That's what I've always been like that. Like, if I know something, I don't want to keep it in. I want to help the next man, rise,
Right. And you're a Reagan era dude, man. Do you feel that there's a lack of respect with the younger generation? And are we not doing a good job mentoring them?
As far as in the club world, you mean?
Club world, street world, the whole world. Do you think there's a lack of mentorship?
I have a different perspective on it. I think that the OGs dropped the ball. It's not the young boys is young boys. They're going to be wild. It's the OGs that dropped the ball. They didn't put them on the game like we were put on, So I blame the ones that are in position, not molding the young ones to like move correctly.
Right. And Ghost, have you always been an entrepreneur, a hustler? Has it always been in you?
Yeah, I was never like, school was like a nightmare. Like, I hated it. I was one of those dudes that like, I could get good grades, but I was never checked in. I was always goofing off, like it was just, school to me is like, schools were made by the Rothschilds to create factory workers. So I never fit into that robot mentality, like I always had big dreams, I just always knew as a young one, like, there's more to this than just like working a regular 9 to 5. Like, that's death to me. Like, just like feeling like all I could do is just work and that's it. That's death to me. I'm not living. Because as men, we're supposed to be creators. We're supposed to keep creating. So if you're not creating, you're not living, in my opinion.
Right. Why do you think we're indoctrinating people to be worker bees and fall into Walmarts and not be, independent business minds? Do you think that's an indoctrination?
It definitely is, because the elites want people to work for them. You know what I'm saying? So if everybody's opening their businesses and doing their thing, which they can do, and I don't believe everybody's meant to be a star, but everybody can make money. There's ways for everybody. And even with this whole web thing, you don't have to be the best looking girl, best looking dude. You don't have to be the most articulate. You just have to be yourself. And a lot of people just can't do that. So they're not going to be able to succeed in that way. But schools should be teaching business. They shouldn't be teaching, like once you know how to read and all that stuff, they should be teaching you how to do your taxes, how to open a business, how to open an LLC, stuff that you really could use in life to make some money. Like if I had a school, I would be having the kids learn about all different aspects of real life, how to, make it.
Right.
And school is just not designed for that.
Right. And it seems, if you're a nerd and you love math, well, we're going to push you that direction, right? It doesn't seem like we have it's just like a one-size-fits-all approach to education.
Yeah.
Like if you have an independent spirit like yourself, you should be in entrepreneurial classes, learning the game.
Yes.
But instead, we just throw everything at the fridge, see what sticks, and then people fall through the cracks and so forth. What do you think about Putin, the president of Russia? I want the honest answer, bro.
Do you want this video to be demonetized?
Shit.
He wants sovereignty for his country. NATO's at his doorstep. Why wouldn't he protect his country? That's how I see it, They put NATO at his doorstep. So his enemies are literally right there. So it's an act of war, basically. So he had to defend his country. But a lot of people, you can't say nothing about none. Like YouTube sent letters out saying that we can't talk about certain aspects of it. If it sounds anything pro Putin, they're gonna cut you off, So I love YouTube, I really do, but I wish they were just a little bit more lenient about what we could talk about, If you're harassing people and just being a knucklehead, it's whatever, If you're just trolling, whatever. But if we're having adult conversations about adult issues, we should be able to have that conversation. I don't know, I don't like it personally, I hate it, but Rumble is not advanced enough to really get money on it, unless you're big like Steven Crowder or Andrew Tate or something like that.
Right. What do you think of Andrew Tate, man?
Oh, I love him. He's funny as hell.
Yeah,
he's funny. They hate him. They hate him. They try to say it's because of the misogyny, but it's because of the politics. It's what you got to think about it. His main demo is the young boys, because when he went on Aiden Ross. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Aiden Ross. He was a big Twitch stream guy, and they cut him off, and now he's on YouTube. He got such a big fan base of young boys, and that's the military age or coming into military age boys. Once you start getting in their mind, the government don't like that. That's the problem. You know what I mean? It
feels like we're so divided, we can't even have a normal conversation anymore, bro.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, and it's the Democratic Party, and it's also Republicans too. But they have paid off whatever your favorite basketball player is, they pay him off. Whoever your favorite rapper is, they pay him off. They give him a Gucci deal, they give him this. All those people promoting those type of brands have to give you the Democrat left-wing speaking points. If they don't do that, they're out. And I hate to say just left, because the right is part of it too, but that's basically what's going on. They control the media, they control the big stars who have influence, but it's hard because if they say, we're gonna give you a Nike deal, but you can't talk about this, this, and that, it's tough, You're like, I want that Nike deal, But you have to choose, what you want your legacy to be. Some people are just chasing a dollar, I'm more about legacy.
We've been told the truth always lives in the middle.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not far left, it's not far right. It's taking the best of both worlds and finding a place that prospers Americans and the world, right?
So I have a theory on this that people are not gonna like, but I think that that's what Trump was trying to do. I think Tucker Carlson is kind of like the same thing. And I think that what they do is, if somebody could be a hero, they have to cut them down. Because if they're speaking the truth, they influence too many people. So what do? Like Tucker Carlson, he's not under Fox wing no more. So now he could talk. So what do? They start putting out little videos. Oh, he's this, he's a racist, he's that. That's how they do it. And the problem is with America too, all you have to do is say somebody's racist and already, boom, they're split, their mind goes numb. You say conspiracy theory, their mind goes numb, they can't think anymore. It's just, so there's no conspiracies now. You just believe the government. And you know what? Being from New York, it really annoys me because we were so big on like just telling it like it is. And Trump is New York to the core. He just tells you what it is. And people don't like that, but I respect somebody that tells you how they feel. Instead of lying to you, being politically correct and all that, And a lot of people don't like that, but it's because they get controlled by the media. it's hard. If you flip on one channel and they're saying, yo, Trump is racist, you heard this and that? Flip on another, they say the same thing. It's like a promo package. They put out an agenda and then all the different stations say the same thing. It's so obvious that it's like a promotional package that they paid for. You know what I mean? It's just, for a true hero to emerge this day and age, it's gonna be rough. Because automatically they're like, oh, he's talking the truth. We're gonna downgrade him. And they have control of the whole media. So imagine like Malcolm X right now, or Martin Luther King. If they were out right now, they would be like, oh, he hates white people. And then they would like, they would just use whatever to like have them against each other instead of having a strong leader rise that could eventually unite everybody. That's what they're scared of.
What are the one percenters, more or less? How do they swing politically?
I would say conservative, like behind the scenes, but they don't want to talk about it around people, But yeah, 100%, like on that side. I've never heard too many. Well, my club being diverse, I had brothers that were kneeling at rallies for the, I forgot his name, George Floyd, for the whole George Floyd thing. They were kneeling. And I had brothers tell me like, that's one thing that I say about Cali, that they may have it correct a little bit with the prison politics, because we had situations where, all right, I have a brother that is black and he wants me to go support him. I remember one of my big brothers, he told me, he was like, yo, I need you to hold me down. I'm like, of course, let's go. And then he told me, I'm going to a BLM thing. They keep, these racist dudes keep berating them every time they go. I said, listen, bro, I can't support BLM, so I can't ride with you on that. Just don't go. You know what I mean? This is Sose the Ghost, and you watching Cinemills TV. Don't forget to smash that like button. And oh yeah, we ghosting, baby.
So you've been out here in LA from time to time. What do you think of the city, man? Are you vibing off LA?
I love the SoCal Mexican Vicla culture. It's so fly. Like, the bikes are amazing. Like, there's nothing like SoCal and Cali. Like, I haven't experienced Northern California, but like SoCal just is a different beast, like I never seen, like, I swear, growing up in New York, I always had like things that I wanted to customize and I could never do it. And then I see everybody in Cali, like the shades are custom, like the grips on their bike is custom, engraved. Like they got swag. Like they just really like, it's like art out here. That's the best way to describe it. SoCal is like art.
Yeah.
Everything they do has like art to it. And it's just all like the work that they've done. Like even my bike, it's Cali'd out, My bike, I'm like one of the only people on the East Coast with a soft tail like I got,
Right.
Over here would be a regular bike, But over there, I stand out right away.
What are they rocking out there?
So growing up, the thing for us was if you had a truck, you was big boy. If you had like a Tahoe.
Would you raise it? Would you guys raise them or not?
Nah, they wasn't doing nothing fly, just rims, that's it. And systems, I don't know why, but they just never had that touch like California, but like all the customization. But yeah, like the Navigator, if you had...
The Navi was the car.
Yeah. If you had an Escalade, you were like getting all the chicks, like all of them, And there wasn't as much bikes either, It was more like street bikes.
Yeah,
not the sport bikes,
Yeah. That's hit LA pretty hard. A lot of dudes are rocking the dirt bikes, and deep now.
Yeah. The young boys in New York, they like tear up the streets with their dirt bikes and doing tricks, and they shut everything down and people be pissed off. But where else they gonna ride at? They got nowhere else to ride at. Like New York is so citied out that there's not much places for them to really ride,
Are the Rough Riders big out there?
Yeah, the Rough Riders are real big in New York. Yeah,
and
they're big in a lot of places though.
Yeah, they're big in Arizona. You see them out there.
Yeah. I did an interview with one of them recently.
Who I see a lot on the freeways stunting are the Ruthless Riders. If you've heard of them.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they're a big Cali club.
Yeah.
Shout out to some of those dudes. They're cool guys, man. But we're seeing on the media, and I'm sure you're seeing this about LA, is New York as bad as it's being portrayed with all the crime and the shit kicking off out there?
New York is crazy, bro. Like, growing up, it was like the 80s and 90s was crazy, but it's like reverting back to that. At first, it was like so bad that like drug dealers would just burn down buildings so the feds wouldn't come in and get all their work and lock them away for a long time. They would burn down whole buildings. They used to call it the burnt down Bronx. back in the days. I don't know if you ever heard that saying, because there was so many buildings getting burned down. It was crazy. Like, if you ever seen the movie with Wesley Snipes?
Yeah, New Jack City.
New Jack City,
Yeah.
yeah. It was like that. Like, they would control a project or something, and once the feds come in to raid, they would just burn the whole building down. And we used to be, like, as kids, we used to walk in, and it was like crackheads sleeping in there. It was some scary, like, movie type shit.
We always think of New York as being a city that has so much diversity and everyone's kind of commingling, which we always admired from LA standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Because there is there's so many political lines out here. It's crazy. Even within the Latinos, there's political lines, you know?
You know what I noticed? Like, California is spread out. New York is up. So it's so many. You could have, realistically, you have 1 million people in your neighborhood because everything goes up. All the buildings are high. So it's so many of us, you can't section yourself off by race, because where you gonna live? You know, it's a melting pot, you know what I mean? So it's just like, it's hard to really section yourself off like that.
And Demons Row's killing it, man. You guys are doing such a great job, and I know you edit a lot of your own stuff.
Yeah.
That beginning song, that hardcore song, is that an artist that you work with?
You're talking about on the intro?
Yeah, on the intro.
That's Jacob Lazo. He's like a metal dude. He got, all his stuff is fire. He's on YouTube. Like, he's easy to find.
Yeah.
Just type in Jacob Lazo. He's fire though. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Jacob, man. Did you license that from him? Is that how you did it?
Yeah.
And what's your advice, Sose, for the YouTubers coming up, including Cinemills TV, in terms of how do you grow your channel? What's the business behind this? What's the secret sauce for doing that?
So I'm gonna tell you what I do. I always keep educating myself. I don't sit there and watch movies and stuff like that. I watch YouTube. If you want to be great at something, you have to focus on that. So what I do is, like, and now I do it with everything. This is why I love YouTube. Like, you just watch every video that says how to grow on YouTube, how to get subscribers on YouTube. That's what you do. You just keep doing it, keep educating yourself. There's no way you don't get better. But people don't do that. They'll watch Netflix or whatever. How are you gonna be better than somebody that's watching educational stuff in the field that you're in while you're watching Netflix? You can't beat that person. It's impossible.
So you study the craft of content creation.
Yeah, I'm a student.
What are some of your favorite YouTube shows?
I watch a lot of Steven Crowder. I like Steven Crowder a lot. I watch Tim Pool. I watch a lot of politics stuff.
Okay.
I watch your stuff for the interviews. I want to step my interview game up. You're very good at interviews. You're really good at it.
Appreciate that, big dog.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you going to do more interviews on your show, on
Yes.
Demons Row?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some big ones coming up.
Man, your merch line's impressive, bro.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
How's that? Are you selling so much? I know that mask is hard to keep in stock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, and I got another hat, Rob More, Politics Less. I can't keep them. Every time we get a couple hundred, they just go. And then we order more, and then they go. And it's like, it's amazing. It's a blessing. It really is.
What other product lines are you exploring?
As far as?
Well, I know you got the challenge coin, the mask, the merch, the gear.
Yeah.
Are you going to develop any other products?
So I got some things in the work. I'm going to start getting into comic books with the character that I have on my cover of the album that I have not released yet. But when I'm doing the show, I have a picture of the cover behind me. And that character that I created, I'm working on comic books.
What's that character's name?
I named him Ghosta Belly.
Okay, Ghosta Belly.
Yeah, yeah. And
I like
I'm gonna
that.
be doing that, and then I'm in talks with some stuff about doing like video games and stuff like that. Like, I have a very big dream. I have big dreams that I wanna fulfill. YouTube is just a start, you know?
What about a movie about your life?
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I said in the beginning that when it's all said and done, when my legacy's complete, I wanna be like the Rob Zombie of bikers, albums, movies. So I want to have my like couple of movies and my albums and just be that for the MC culture, you know?
I mean, we saw Sons of Anarchy, the Mayans, but I want a good feature-length film, like a gritty biker movie.
I have an idea that's so out the box that I just can't wait to bring it to fruition. But it's a way that real clubs that have real clout could be involved, and it's I can't talk about it because somebody will take it.
Right.
But I'll tell you off camera. But it's something where the target becomes something else besides biker on biker. I'll say it like that.
Okay.
And it's deep, bro. And like
it's
when
got
I
layers.
get that, yeah. Shout to my brother Sober Junkie.
Sober Junkie, shout out.
Yeah, he lives in Vegas and he's doing some movies and he's starting to get his feet wet. So we're gonna start doing some stuff. But yeah, I want the big, big deal movies,
Right.
And I got a book that is pretty much done. So I'm gonna put out that book about my life soon.
No, I love it, man. And shout out to Diamond for doing that beautiful work on your
Diamond,
skin.
my brother.
Yeah.
Diamond is so crafty. He did this bandana right here that's on the tattoo. He did it on my bike, on the forks of my bike. So he tattooed this on me and he airbrushed my bike with this design.
While you were both riding the Sturgis. No, I'm just playing. That'd be crazy. Ghost, with the 1%er thing comes the politics. Is it safe to wear your merch because it might mean something to the wrong guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely because I don't put no diamonds on it. I don't put no territories, none of that stuff. It's just regular motorcycle stuff. I never go too far with the designs that I do where somebody could get caught up,
Right.
So I've never done that because it would be like hypocritical for me to be like, yo, listen, don't wear this and that because you could get caught up. But then I got the merch where you could get caught up for wearing the merch. So yeah, I never had no issues with that.
Right, and you've been able to move almost in neutrality with all different types of clubs. They all
Yeah.
show love to you and respect.
Yeah, that's been the biggest blessing is like moving around all these clubs and getting love from them too. It's just like it's different and it's amazing. It really is because I haven't seen anybody be able to do it. So it's just like. But I've been through so much, bro. Like I've seen it all. I've been shot. I've been through all of this stuff. So it's like the MC stuff is out here is very serious. And in New York, certain clubs is very serious. A lot of it is not as serious as when you into that street gang life, though. There's higher stakes, right. and less. With clubs, there's more sit downs. Right. When you banging, there's no sit down. You react, or you the one who set it off. Somebody comes back, retaliate. It's different,
Yeah, settle a debate we hear out here on the West Coast. Is it the Chingalings or the Booze Fighters? Who's the oldest MC club, 1% club?
So I know that the Booze Fighters is the one that had the actual fight that cracked off with the AMA that actually got branded as the 1% as the Outlaws. So it has to be them because they cracked it off, Now, did they wear the patch first? That I don't know. A lot of the Outlaws say that they were first, so.
Everybody has kind of their own rich history of club history, and you do a great job exploring that, explaining it to people outside the culture.
I'm gonna sit down with one of the Chingalings soon, so I'll ask him that question.
Right. Was Chuck Zito a Chingaling?
Yeah, he was.
That's
He
a
was-
trip.
Yeah, he was a Chingaling, and then he turned 81. Yeah, Chuck Zito's a good dude. We went to his he always does events in Yonkers, which is like right above the Bronx, and yeah, he's a good dude. We definitely gonna do some work soon.
Yeah, shout out to Chuck. I've met him a few times. He seems like a cool dude, someone you don't want to cross unless you got Blue Cross insurance and the full PPO
Because he's
coverage.
a legit, like, I want to say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt,
Man.
or it's karate. He's legit though.
He's still built like a shit brick
Yeah.
house, man.
Yeah, he definitely
Big
is.
Chuck, yeah, man. So, what do you think of Jesse Ventura?
Oh, Jesse's the man. Jesse has done so much in his life. Like how you go from being a Mongol to being a star in WWE, well, WWF in those days, and then you say, you know what, I want to be a governor. And then after he wasn't a governor no more, they asked him why he never said nothing about being a Mongol, and he said, nobody ever asked me. So he became a governor, nobody ever asked. And then after he already ran his term, he was like, yeah, I would have said it, but nobody ever asked me. That's gangster, bro.
Right, that is gangster,
Yeah.
man.
And when their back was against the wall, he spoke up for them. That's realness. Like, that's a real brother. Because he didn't have to do that, you know?
So through all your life, you've been through so much, you know, just crazy street shit. How'd you get through that?
My brother Diamond that does my tattoos, his parents died when he was young. My father was gone when I was 4. He was already doing life, and he actually got out. But he killed somebody. He did a lot of crazy stuff because he got addicted to the crack and all that in that era. And we say to each other that I believe that my father is not of this earth. I believe God is my father. And that's why all those times where I thought I was going to get killed or something was going to happen and not go my way, I somehow got out of it, you know?
Right.
And I realized, like, this shit is a boot camp. All this stuff that I went through is God putting me through, you know, gladiator school so that I could be who I am today. Because I can't speak with authority if I never went through it, you know? And it's like now, I almost feel sorry for you if you didn't like face trials and tribulations. Because how you gonna be popping if you never went through nothing? You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, I tell a lot of people this, it's a saying called every level a new devil. And it's so important because when something bad happens, a lot of people crumble and they don't realize like everything happens to put you on your path or where you're supposed to be. So when something bad happens, it's like you're resisting something. You're walking in the wrong direction and God is pushing you to the right direction.
That's good. You speak of faith. We know you to be a man of faith and have that faith component. A lot of people don't understand why you named your show Demons Row. Can you explain that?
It was Speed Demons. You know,
Okay.
that's how that's basically what the Demons Row thing is. It's like a speed demon. Because when I was riding with my club, we used to be having these packs that it was the coolest shit. Like we have these 2 packs and we in these straight lines and everybody, it was a skull on the back. So it was like demons in the night, you know what I mean? So it was like a speed demon thing, you know, demons riding in rows. But I know a lot of Christian people have told me like, you know, I like in the beginning, now that they know me, they know what it is. But in the beginning, they used to get on me like, yo, like, it doesn't matter if you speak positive with a name like Demons Row, you're negative. And it's like, I'm helping people, you know, all the time. What are you doing? You just putting me down. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I tell them, it's like saying that the Tampa Bay Devil Rays or the New Jersey Devils are devil worshippers. You know what I mean? It's kind of stupid, you know?
Right.
But a lot of people, you got to explain it to them if they've never, you know, rode or understand anything about it, you know?
Right. And the devil doesn't look like Skeletor from He-Man. The devil usually wears a red dress and high heels, bro.
Yes. That's the truth.
But yeah, man, Ghost, we got to tell you this. We got to thank you for coming through, man, and blessing us with your story. So
I appreciate it.
And keep doing what you're doing, man, because we're always tapping in with you, big dog.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
How can our audience reach you, bro?
It's Demons Row everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, demonsrow.com, Demons Row on YouTube. You just type in Demons Row, ROW, and you're going to find me anywhere. Even email is demonsrow@gmail.com. Like, everything Demons Row.
And we could cop the merch on the website?
Yeah, okay. www.demonsrow.com.
All right, bro. We're tapping in. Thanks, Ghost. We appreciate you.
My brother. Glad we finally locked in.